Hello everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today, because look, there is a massive shift happening right now in the tech and business world, and we need to talk about it. Today, we're mapping out the exact roadmap for evolving from a traditional data scientist into a highly effective AI-empowered professional. We're going to dive into this by looking at what we're calling the pyramid of adaptation. As we climb this pyramid together, we'll uncover exactly how top-tier data professionals are completely rethinking their daily habits, their toolkits, and really, their ultimate career goals.
And, we really have to start here because there is just a lot of anxiety in the industry right now. Data science jobs are not dead, but they are changing fast. I love this quote because it perfectly captures the reality on the ground. Your field isn't disappearing, it's just evolving. The top 1% of data scientists, they're simply the ones who know how to adapt to this. Companies don't just want raw data talent anymore. They're actively seeking people who know how to seamlessly integrate AI into the mix.
Now, you probably got into this job thinking you'd spend all day uncovering these fascinating patterns and doing complex, cutting-edge modeling, right? But the glamorous reality is that a massive 60 to 70% of your time is often swallowed up by data prep and cleaning. You know the drill: writing repetitive code to check data types, handling missing values, or building the exact same standard visualizations over and over again. That's the true, exhausting reality most of us know all too well. And honestly, that is exactly the pain point we're going to solve today.
Okay, so here is our game plan for today as we build out this pyramid of adaptation. We'll start with Section 1, the top 1%. Then Section 2, supercharging the daily workflow. Section 3, the foundation model era. Section 4, building for production. And finally, Section 5, the human advantage.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the top 1% and adapting to this new data landscape.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that knowing AI is actually twofold. It's really not just about using a chatbot to write a quick Python script for you. First off, you have to rethink your entire workflow: how you generate data, how you conduct exploratory data analysis, reporting, all of it. You use AI to speed up those existing tasks. But second, and honestly, arguably more importantly, you've got to know how to build AI systems. This means creating and deploying tools or agents that automate entire workflows, and not just for yourself, but for your entire team.
Which brings us to Section 2, supercharging the daily workflow by moving faster with smart tools. So, let's talk about some actual tools that are real game changers for that data exploration phase. Take Pandas AI, for example. This is this fantastic Python library that literally lets you ask questions to your data frame in natural language. You just type, "What's the total sales per coffee type?" And it uses an LLM to generate a Python script, returning your answer as a string, a chart, or a number. It's wild. Then there's Data Formulator from Microsoft Research. Think of this as the dream combination of Excel formulas, Power Query, and modern AI. You give it a broad prompt, and it transforms the data and generates visuals. But the absolute best part? It's totally transparent. It shows you exactly how the data is being transformed step by step, so nothing is hidden in a black box and your workflow stays completely reusable.
Now, I know exactly what you're thinking when I mention Pandas AI. You're saying, no way am I sending my company's proprietary dataset to some random language model. But here's why this is so clever. Your data actually stays safe. When you ask Pandas AI a question, it doesn't just upload your whole database. It only sends enough context, so the column names, the schema, maybe a couple of sample rows, to the LLM. The LLM writes the script based on that metadata, Pandas AI verifies it's safe, and then it runs that script locally on your actual machine. So your private data, it never even leaves your environment.
But what if you don't even have the data yet? Or maybe it's locked down tightly behind a ton of red tape. That brings us to the second massive workflow shift: creating synthetic data. Look, we all know getting access to high-quality data is a universal headache, especially in highly regulated, privacy-sensitive industries like healthcare or finance. Well, AI lets you bypass this entire bottleneck by generating artificial datasets that perfectly mimic real-world patterns. You can use a model like Claude to instantly generate structured tabular data or unstructured text. Just by describing what you need, you can spin up 5,000 rows of incredibly realistic e-commerce data, customers, products, order histories in literally minutes. You can start prototyping immediately without waiting 3 weeks for compliance approvals.
Now think about the everyday friction in your workflow. You're probably constantly jumping between a SQL client, GitHub, Slack, Google Drive. It completely drains your energy, right? Well, this is where the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes into play. MCP is essentially a system that connects all those scattered tools and databases directly to an AI assistant. Imagine connecting your Claude desktop directly to your Postgres database. Instead of opening a SQL client, writing a query, copying the results, and pasting them into another document, you just ask your AI, hey, show me the top 10 customers by revenue this month, and boom, the answer appears right there. It completely eliminates that exhausting context switching.
Moving on to Section 3, the foundation model era and how we're rethinking traditional workflows.
If you've ever built a time series forecasting model, you are very familiar with the grueling old way of doing things. You collect the data, clean it, meticulously engineer your features, pick a custom model, train it, fine-tune it, evaluate it. It's a lot. And if the business wants forecasts for 200 different product lines, yeah, you're repeating that grueling loop 200 times. But the new way? It utilizes foundation models. These are models trained on massive, varied datasets, like Amazon's Kronos or TimeGPT. With these, you literally just feed in your data and get an instant forecast. No feature engineering, no model selection, no repetitive training loops. It's a complete paradigm shift.
And look, this isn't just some theoretical concept. It's happening right now at the absolute highest levels. Take Netflix. They recently replaced an entire, incredibly complex stack of separate custom-built recommendation models with just one massive foundation model. This single model was trained on billions of user interactions. So now, instead of building everything from scratch, individual teams across Netflix just fine-tune on top of that one powerful foundation. The data scientists who are really pulling ahead right now are the ones who recognize when to build a custom model from the ground up and when to just leverage a foundation model that already does the heavy lifting beautifully.
Okay, let's look at Section 4, Building for Production and the Rise of the AI Engineer.
Because it really all comes down to this one massive question that trips up so many talented professionals. How do you get a great prototype into production? There's a very, very real gap in the industry right now. A lot of data scientists can build something absolutely brilliant on their own local machine, but they really struggle to deploy it, monitor it, and make it reliable enough for an entire organization to actually depend on.
To close that gap, you've got to expand your toolkit into ML Ops and cloud engineering. It's non-negotiable. Here are the essential steps you need to take. First, you've got to learn to containerize your applications with tools like Docker. That ensures your code runs identically and reliably anywhere, not just on your personal laptop. Second, you need to deeply understand how to actually deploy and serve those models on major cloud platforms. And third, you have to know how to monitor and maintain those AI systems once they are live, making sure they don't drift or just completely break down when real users hit them. When you master those production skills, something amazing happens. You stop being just an analyst, and you start becoming a system builder. That's when you start delivering immense, undeniable business value. For example, instead of just running a one-off report, you might build an AI system that automatically extracts key information from hundreds of manual weekly invoices and saves it straight to the company database. Or maybe you construct these interconnected knowledge graphs that map out thousands of customer interactions, unlocking insights that traditional analysis could literally never reach. These are the kinds of deployments that make you truly irreplaceable to a company. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, the human advantage, your ultimate career moat.
Look, while hard skills and the latest tools are obviously vital, it's actually the soft skills that form your core value. Think about having deep domain knowledge and truly fundamentally understanding the mechanics of how your business makes money. Think about your ability to manage stakeholders and build real, genuine trust. And perhaps most importantly, compelling data storytelling. Because let's be real, all the AI-generated Python scripts in the world won't help you if you can't translate your findings into a clear narrative that actually influences executive decisions. Your judgment and your communication skills are what actually turn raw data into a winning business strategy.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought for today's explainer. Tools like Pandas AI, Data Formulator, these massive foundation models, they are going to keep changing and improving at breakneck speed. That is an absolute given. The real question you need to be asking yourself is, are you actively building your business judgment to guide those tools? Stay open, definitely keep experimenting, but never ever forget that your true value lies in the human insight that directs the technology. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep learning.